Tonight I'll reach out and touch the sky. In the city of angels, feels like I'm coming home. With my head up in the clouds, I am searching for something, and I'm still hoping. 'Cause I wanna be in, not out, wanna make this all count. Yes, I wanna go crazy now, gonna make this all count. Feeling like a rock star, 'cause tonight I'm getting out of line and it's alright. Feeling like
I think one needs to draw a distinction between the psychological theories and the practice of psychotherapy. I think that I've done a certain amount of work studying the history of psychotherapy. And my sense is that, and it's also my kind of observation, but informal observation after decades of being around the field, is that what's the most important thing is the relation between two individuals and not the orientation. Some people are healers, and it doesn't matter what badge that they have or what theories that they use. Some people have that capacity. In all forms of psychotherapy, and some not. So if I'm asked to, which I am from time to time, to recommend therapist to someone, it just depends on on an individual, not their orientation.
Mm-hmm.
From my perspective, I see the amount of work in history of psychology increasing. I have a group of students, a number of whom work on topics related to Jung, and they've entered a collaboration with students of a colleague of mine, Christine Maillard, in the University of Strasbourg, and they've set up a new journal called FANES, Journal for Jung History. So it's the first sort of online open access journal. It's the first journal explicitly dedicated to Jung history. And there's a level of historical work and interest that I see happening now in relation to Jung that simply did not exist 10 years ago. And I see this as a very important development, which will transform the historical understanding of the field in decades to come. In a way, first, whenever when it's dealing with research, you have to follow your interests. You have to follow your passions. Mm-hmm. So I try not to suggest subjects to students in a way to let them find their own subject, because you need the passion, which is the engine of research. So the question is, what questions are you interested in? What do you want to find out about? What interests you? And if you follow the passion, that's what you need to find what you're looking for. And yes, then when someone has got a subject, you can give them advice and guidance in terms of what they should be looking for, or where there's various materials. But it's very rare that you're able to you suggest a subject. I mean, I'd rather let students find their own subjects.
Let's get some sun, baby, it's time to go.
subjects that Jung singled out. And I would say, why not? They haven't even been looked at in many cases.
I can feel the heat is rising, and the beat is hypnotizing. No, we run the show.
In terms of editing work, I've completed the edition of Jung's Black Books from 1913 to 32, which will appear next summer. I'm currently editing the original protocols for Memories, Dreams, Reflections. These are the initial interviews between Agnelli Jaffe and Jung for publication. In terms of my own work, it's a good question. I'm not sure. I've got a lot in the cellars that I need to things I need to finish, and I need a bit of space to be able to map out some stuff.
Got to live or we get too old. Come on, shine, shine a little tonight. Let's get louder, come on, lose control. Ain't no limit when we go for more. We can shine.
I wrote that book in 1997, and it was a reply and a critique of the work of Richard Nolan, and particularly his books, The Jung Cult and The Aryan Christ. What I couldn't say at the time was that it was based on my first study of the Red Book, and that gave me the confidence to know that what Noll was claiming was simply not the case. But in a way, that was the basic evidence that I had, and in a way, the understanding that I developed there in terms of my view of what Jung's endeavor was, what Jung's project was that rather than be a prophet, rather than be a Christ, rather than be a self-appointed God-man, he was wanting to study what I call the psychology of the religion-making process. And that was I was developing that view directly through my initial study of the Red Book and Jung's discussions with Kerry Baines around that. It also then was, to take up a term you mentioned before, a microhistory of the formation of the Jungian movement, in terms of beginning to do research which Noll had not done in the archives in Zurich around the psychological club, and looking at the debates between the various figures. So in a way, it's Jung, but it's not just Jung. It's opening up the social formation of analytical psychology, in which there are many other prominent actors like Alphonse Maeder, Maria Moltze, Hans Tube, and that they were engaged, and Jung was in dialogue with these figures. Which is, of course, an individual cannot found by themselves a social movement. By definition, a social movement requires others, and that they then participate. And it was also a study of how it got taken to other destinations. At that point, Noll's work was achieving a lot of publicity and notoriety, and these were claims that they were presented as historical. And my concern was not about the evaluation in the way that was what Jungians were, concerned with is that in a way they're more concerned, it seemed to me, on his negative evaluation of Jungians rather than specifically Jung.
Mm-hmm.
But my sense was like, okay, if this is, I need to clear the ground for proper historical research here. I need to show that this is simply not the case. If you take this seriously, you can't do historical research. And you can't publish the Red Book. You need to, in a way, criticize the myths, the new legends in this case.
We've had this conversation, and you seem to agree with me. But when there's complications, you withdraw and leave me to be. When there's a problem, you become like a wall. And every time I trip, it's a